So this story has been really big in the news in Canada. I think it came out yesterday, and then today the guy kind of walked it back. But basically, in a nutshell, this Trudeau cabinet minister, and I think by pretty much default, the Liberal government wanted to implement, I don't know if they actually propose it or not, but they want to implement a policy to where journalists, media outlets, maybe even anybody reporting on news. I don't know exactly down to the detail what they wanted, but they wanted them to have a license to report the news. And this is like I say in so many videos, and I've made in so many videos, is that the Canadian government under the Liberals, and I mean I'm sure the NDP would want to do the same thing, they want to crack down on free speech. Now, why do they want to crack down on free speech? Because I think a lot of people wonder, well, why would they want to do that? Like, it's a free country, all this kind of stuff. Well, when you're on the left, you want to increase the size and power of government. And especially nowadays, there's pretty much no amount or no size of government, no amount of power the government can have that's too much. Because the base of the left, the base of the Democrats, the base of the Liberals has gone quite a ways to the left, and again, I've literally made a video on the polls that show this kind of stuff. So anybody questioning it, you're questioning hard facts. So please don't question it because it's a fact. That's why they have to appeal to this new base of people, and it's partially through immigration, partially through the universities and public schools, just brainwashing the you know what out of people. Um, and that's kind of the reason for the shift. And to go along with this shift, the liberals can no longer be the party of of the more moderate liberals, like a traditional Democrat or liberal was 20, 30 years ago. And that's something, again, like I always talk about, that really bothers me is people still think that the liberals and the conservatives are the same as they've always been over the last 20, 30 years. They think, oh, well, they're pretty much the same. And neither one has moved policies on, or their position on any major policies, when both of them have. The right has came to the left on many major issues, especially the issues that the left criticized them on, and the left hasn't. The left has gone even more to the left. Like, the biggest criticisms of the left was always they're too crazy when it comes to spending money. They always spend way too much money, which was pretty much the big one. And as if they came back on that, have they said, yeah, you know what, maybe we have gone too far. Maybe we're not full on free market when it comes to our tax policies and all this kind of stuff. We don't want like a 10% flat tax or 15% flat tax, but the rates that we wanted have been a little too high. Well, no, they haven't done that. They've gone even further and been, hey, we want full on socialism. So that's kind of something, like I say, that always bothers me. And when we talk about this political divide, everyone's talking about the political divide nowadays. One of the biggest reasons I think it exists is that we pretend that both sides are equally to blame, when in the past I think that's true, but nowadays I think that's complete BS. I think that's a complete cop out. And the big thing you look at is that generally the right is never left off the hook. The left doesn't let the right off the hook. Moderates don't let the right off the hook, and conservatives don't let the right off the hook. When the right doesn't let the left off the hook, but everyone else does. The ends justify the means when it comes to them, and moderates seem to be stuck in their way of, oh, well, both sides are equally to blame, kind of BS that I really can't stand. But anyways, getting back to this point, like I said, the Trudeau government wants to crack down on free speech. Partially, for the main reason is that when you're on the left, your main goal is to increase the size and power in the state. When you have increased limitations on free speech or no free speech, well, then it's pretty hard to speak up when the government has more power than they can handle, basically, or the people want them to have, because you don't got free speech. How are you going to fight back? So, and nowadays, the majority of speech is done online. And if you can force media outlets to have a license, then again, how are you going to do that kind of stuff? Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they're all already cracked down a lot. Like, they can't crack down much more other than flat out banning you if you're not on the left, which that's pretty much is. If they were to go any farther, that's basically what they would do. I mean, they already banned a lot of people who are on the right, that aren't even all that controversial. And even if you are controversial, it's still not really a reason to ban someone. But for all the people, they're also going to defend it by saying, oh, they're not going through with it. They just kind of threw it out there. Who cares? Like, that's clearly what they actually believe. Like I don't care if they're not going to go through with it. That's clearly something that they actually believed. And if the response, if there wouldn't have been a great outcry, they would have went through with it. I would bet money that they did that. They didn't go through with it because they clearly wouldn't have been able to pull it off. But I think that the reason why they brought it up is it was kind of a test, and I don't think a lot of people are going to think of it this way, as a test in that if you look at people coming in from other countries, when you look at immigration, the only group of people in society that supports free speech, at least the majority, is white men and I think Asian men and maybe Jewish men. But as a whole, just think of it as white men because it's the overwhelming majority, at least in Canada. And when you look at immigration, there isn't a race of people that's coming in that at least that the left is bringing in an overwhelming majority fashion that supports free speech at least as a group. Not one. Women, even white women, don't even support free speech. So if you care about free speech, then you should be against immigration. That's something I always hear. Again, that's another reason to be against immigration, at least mass immigration. Personally, I'm not completely against immigration. I'm against the way they're doing it now. Like I've said before, and I'll say again, there should be no welfare, no free goodies, any of that kind of stuff, and there should be no. They shouldn't be allowed in unless there's jobs available. But if you cut taxes, if you, well, I guess let's take a step back. If you eliminate welfare, you eliminate the free healthcare, all this kind of stuff for the immigrants, well, then people's taxes are going to be able to be cut, which when people get their taxes cut, they have more money to spend. When they have more money to spend, their businesses will be able to hire more people because they'll be making more money. So if you cut people's taxes, in a nutshell, more jobs are going to be available. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't think we need to go to zero immigration. At least in the meantime, we do just to let the people that are currently here assimilate. I don't think you can kick them all out, but that's another issue in and of itself. The main point being here is that this is just another scary precedent from the Trudeau government. Like I'm not sure what it's going to take for people to find, or at least the majority of people to stand up. Um, it's generally you're not going to change your mind no matter what side of the spectrum you're on. At least that's kind of how people are. But I do want to put this information out because if you care about free speech, then I don't know how you can't be very alarmed at this kind of stuff. So I'll leave it there. If you like the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe and stay tuned for more.